Hey there, everybody. This video is all about Power Book 2 Ghost. I have been waiting forever to talk about this show. I've been waiting forever for like actual tangible news to come out.
And it's finally here.
Yeah, finally, I'll tell you, I was so excited when I booted up the Starz app. I was like, all right, this is a minute long. Let's get into all this. And then they spent as long on the Starz logo at the end of this as they did the actual teaser. This was maybe actually like 20 seconds of real footage.
Yeah, and the beginning was a big Starz thing as well. So I'll be happy for whatever I get right now.
Starz is getting what they wanted. I'm assuming they probably got some people to subscribe, spend a month on the membership, and then see this teaser and maybe be partially excited, partially wanting to throw their phone across the room. I understand all of these emotions. Tariq is the master of making you want to throw your phone across the room. We have been there with him.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all a little bit surprised that this is going to be the first one that we're going to get, considering everything that happened and how many people out there feel about Tariq.
Yeah, we're all big collective fans of Tariq St. But I am excited for Power Book 2 Ghost. Would have been more excited if it was the Tommy one. But anyway, we're going to talk all about the teaser that happened tonight. Just so that everybody knows, we're not showing the teaser here.
No, we're just talking about it.
Yeah, no false advertising. But before we get into all of this good stuff, because there is some interesting sort of context in here to get into. If you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I know Book 2 doesn't start until September, but we're going to have a lot of coverage leading up to it.
And I'm really excited to be part of the coverage with everyone. Yeah, so when it was airing, I didn't have a chance to actually watch Power. I'm caught up now, but I was in the comments with a lot of you guys on our channel because there were spoilers out there, as everyone knows. There was so many leak issues that were going on,
Yeah.
and I was trying to help Matt not see what was going on. So even though I hadn't seen the show back then, I knew how it ended, so I knew that this is what we were going into.
Yeah, and kudos to you for keeping it under wraps for like multiple weeks at a time that Tariq killed Ghost, and I'm just sitting here
It was
like
not easy.
Lottie-dying my way through the end of the show, not aware of like the Rome is burning environment that was going on around this.
Okay, so let's start with this little tease. And I'm calling it little because it really was like 20 seconds long. It was pretty short. So the first thing that we saw was that there's going to be a funeral coming up, which I think we all kind of expected with how everything ended, that there was going to be some kind of funeral. And Yaz is there. And for a second, I was just like, who is this? Like, and I've just watched the show, all of the show, and I was still kind of like, I don't know who this is. And I was like, oh, yes, it is Yaz.
Don't worry, this will be the one appearance of Yaz throughout all of Power, but I don't actually know this. But given the way the book one went, is it too crazy to think Yaz will like show up and say hi to Tariq at the end of Book 2 and that'll be it?
Or that was it right there in the promo at the funeral and then whisked away.
That is all the Yaz footage you get. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'm glad that they showed because this was something a lot of people were very upset about, sort of myself included. It was like, okay, you're gonna give us like the reading of the will. You're gonna do all this other. It's like there's no funeral. It just felt very unceremonious that it was sort of like, all right, Ghost, goodbye. Let's talk about the will now.
Yeah, and I mean, we all went on a journey with him, and it was 6 seasons, and then there was no real kind of goodbye. And I'm a former funeral director, so just in life, I know how important it is to have a funeral. And for all of us watching a show, we get really invested in these characters. Everybody was super invested in Ghost, and it was just kind of like, goodbye. Yeah, no, so I'm glad there's going to be something coming up for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Tasha being interrogated.
Yeah.
So there's going to be somebody talking to her saying, asking if someone else was there, if it was Tariq, how would she know that Ghost was alone? So it kind of feels like they're going in a bit of a direction of maybe that they don't actually just trust Tasha's confession, that there's more to it and they're going to be digging deeper, and that makes sense.
I think at this point, we have all been through 6 seasons of Power, so we kind of know that if you are a prosecutor, if you are a U.S. attorney in the world of power, anybody in law enforcement in general, you should know there are some shenanigans in the world of power, and the idea that Tasha may be falsifying something's not really adding up, because the whole Tasha goes to prison thing at the end of Power, it was sort of like somebody pressed like the fast forward button on the VCR, and it was just like, blah, 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 and then that was it.
Yeah, and we kind of need to see a little more of what exactly was done or said and how it all kind of unfolded, and why maybe somebody isn't actually just believing her, because usually if somebody's going to come in and just put it out there, this is what happened. All right, well, let's just put that away then. But that's clearly not the case. Somebody wants the truth, and they don't think Tasha's giving it to them. That's what it feels like. I
feel like Cooper Sachs, you got your fingerprints over something here. I don't want to call Cooper Sachs my guy, because I hate Sachs. Sachs he's a horrible person, but I love hating Sachs immensely. He's one of my that was one of my most excited things about book 2. It's like, oh man, Sachs is here. I could just hate him for another couple of years. You
do love to hate him.
He's just so bitter at Tariq a lot of I'm looking forward to a lot of that. But we go from this scene, and we both sort of understand that there are plenty of mothers who would take the fall for their kid, and maybe that's why the suspicion is rising.
For sure. I mean, Tasha's not the only mom that would take the fall for their kids. I mean, it just is what it is. So I'm sure there's got to be some suspicion around there, being kind of like, okay, we know that you love your son, and maybe this is what's happening to give him an opportunity at life. That's what mothers do. They sacrifice themselves all the time for their kids.
And I think Tariq is maybe going to try to pay some of this back, because a big theme of this teaser is sort of, can Tariq find a sort of way to, I don't want to say redemption, because she didn't kill Ghost, but basically find a way to help Tasha out. And we see who I believe is Davis McLean. We haven't heard his last name. I don't know how you pronounce it properly, but that's Method Man's character. He is going to be presumably Tasha's defense attorney, according to the synopsis that's out there. He is very driven. He wants to do a good job, and that this presumably it would be a very high-profile case. It's the sort of thing that could kind of go up that's me going up the career ladder.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I think that's what's going down there, and I think he is going to be essential to that. But when you are a high-powered defense lawyer, you want a lot of money, and that's going to put Tariq in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah, so as per the synopsis, it's going to be, Tariq is going to be kind of living this double life, where he's going to be trying to get money together and sort of working sort of this little criminal, smaller, we'll call it an empire, but it ain't really anything at this point.
Yeah.
But he's going to be trying to get money together that way, while trying to also balance going to school and everything else that's going to be going on. And as much as we're all mad at Tariq, it is kind of an interesting idea that he's trying to still be this good student and going to school and balancing this life. They even said he's going to have a love life, so he's going to be balancing someone that he's going to be with, and then have this whole sort of secret double life going on to be able to help his mom and pay for this attorney and all this other stuff that's going on. So he's going to be balancing sort of the good life, that he's this, proper young man, with what's going on over here with some criminal activity. It's interesting.
It's reflected really well in the key art. Like, they put out this photo of Tariq, and you see like the top half of it is him sort of living model student life.
It's good.
Yeah, and then he's got the bottom half of it, which is very much sort of symbolizing the criminal underworld. It looks visually like the original Power. It's a good representation of it. I mean, the irony is, Tariq, it's not even like he's going to school, and I hate to use a Bachelor quote here, but he's not like he's going to school for the right reasons either. He's just trying to get the money that comes with him ultimately finishing that. So all of this is going down, and it seems like he is going to get involved with a certain somebody played by Mary J. Blige in the process.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be a really interesting way to bring it in. You know, is she going to sort of be the new ghost who's going to be running everything? Or is it going to then bring Tariq more into that side of the world? Or is it really just sort of a means to an end so that he can help his mom and try to get her out of the predicament she's in? And maybe he will end up sort of falling into enjoying school and stuff like that. I mean, just that idea of being pulled into the two different directions. I mean, there's a lot to mine from that.
This character's name is Monet. It seems like she's very, very smart, but we don't really know that much about her. I think this is mostly Power wanted to get a big name into book 2. Mary J. Blige, big name.
Yep.
Sell her as sort of a criminal underworld boss type early on in the show. It's interesting, but the character better be good after all this sort of hype that's already going out there for it.
I think she's going to be. I mean, the casting for the first 6 seasons of, you know, Power and then moving into book 2 here, I mean, the casting was pretty good. So I feel like they're not going to bring her in just to be a big name. She's got to have some chops going on.
So we go from this sort of double life that is alluded to, and you get a lot of like quick little flashes of various criminal underworld things, like, you know, wads of cash, which if there's one thing that scares me as much as anything in this current climate, it's looking at somebody like grabbing a lot of money and handing it over to somebody else.
Yeah.
But they go eventually into Tasha proclaiming it's not true at the end of this. And I think this kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier, where I theorize this may be her being confronted with something about Tariq is involved in this. Isn't he? Isn't he? And then she proclaims it's not true. That just makes sense. I know we're writing our own fan fiction here, but when you give us 20 seconds of material, like, we got to do something.
No, I really think that this is going to be a lot of the story for Tasha, that she's really going to try to fall hard on her own sword so that Tariq can move forward and have a better life. And she may not think that there is another way around this where it doesn't end up implicating him. Like, if she's able to, you know, get off of these charges and get out and have freedom, then what happens to her son? So I think until they can come up with someone else that can take the fall for it, she's just going to keep falling on that sword over and over again.
We like to be honest with you guys. Like, we like to tell everybody the truth, right? And so I'm going to have some real talk with you guys here right now. And so we don't know the spoilers. There are no leaks yet. Let's hope there are none ever. But anyway.
Yeah, I hope not.
Tasha's going to get out of jail. Like, they're not going to have a full show of Tasha. Tasha's not going to be doing Prison Break either. She's not going to become Wentworth Miller halfway through this season. Like, it's going to happen. It's just sort of like, how is it going to happen? Like, that's the thing. That's the thing I'm actually kind of curious about.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like to see it happen. I don't want to just watch the whole season of her behind bars. It's not really where I wanted to see that go. So yeah, I don't think we're going to end up with her just staying in jail. I do think we're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing we want to talk about is Tariq really going to become a better ghost? Because that's something that they've had in the synopsis. And I just don't see that happening. And especially with the way many of us out there feel about Tariq and what happened in Power. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I don't know how many people really want to see him be ghost or a better ghost, or if anyone's even going to believe that he's a better ghost. And with how much he just hated his dad, I don't know that he actually even wants to be a better ghost or be just like his dad. The whole thing is kind of strange a little bit.
I had a visceral reaction when I saw the end of the synopsis, because I do think it was something like, in order to save his mother and also do his school life. This is my trailer voice.
I was gonna say.
Tariq must be like Ghost, only better, or something. So it's just like, okay, you know, number one, nobody really even knows still why this show is called Power Book 2 Ghost. I still think it's kind of just like Starz wanted people to watch the show, so they were like, hey, let's put Ghost in the title.
Yeah, because the only way that this should really be called Ghost is if Ghost is still alive. And with them bringing in the funeral and everything that's going on, that is not likely. However, if they're trying to be like, you know, Power Book 2 Ghost, then maybe they're just kind of like, oh, it's Ghost Jr., it's number 2 Ghost kind of thing, which, again, I just don't think anybody really wants to see Tariq be Ghost. I don't think Tariq wants to see Tariq be Ghost. He doesn't like his dad.
I'm not trying to hate on Michael Rainey Jr. because I think he's great as Tariq on the show, and none of this is his. I feel like I'm dogging on Tariq, so I have to put a lot of qualifiers in here, but it's just...
But that's not dogging on the actor.
No, Michael's great.
Michael is great.
And I say that because of what I'm about to say. It's because I feel like they can't name it Power Book 2 Tariq, because if they named it Power Book 2 Tariq, everyone would immediately just be like, click. Like, they're not going to be as excited about watching Power Book 2 Tariq. Ghost is compelling. It's interesting on paper. I really want the show to be good. I want them to win me over on Tariq.
What I'd like to see happen, and this is just complete fantasy land at this point.
All right, we're 16 minutes in.
Yeah, nobody's watching anymore.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so what I'd like to see, if they're going to name it Ghost, that they're not going to make it that Tariq is going to be the next Ghost. I'd like Ghost, in some ways, to continue to haunt Tariq and actually kind of be a ghost in his mind. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we would see Omari on the show, but I'm not gonna be mad at that.
Who's gonna be mad at that?
But sort of that feeling almost of like anyone out there who's seen Dexter and his dad was still around, kind of haunting him throughout his life, you know, going on to do what he does. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that, because then at least it ties in the title of Ghost in a way that makes sense, because Tariq is not Ghost, and I'm fine with that, and I'm glad with that.
What if Omari just voiced Ghost and you just heard his voice? Omari would never have to leave his house. He could just sit there and do it at home and you know, put it out that. I kind of like this idea. Like, I think this could be fun. I don't know how they're going to tie everything in. I'm happy to know it's happening in September. The full season's not even filmed yet. I'm guessing it's possible we'll see like a chunk, and then maybe we'll have another break. I don't know when they're coming back to film.
I'll take what they give me.
Yeah, I'm happy we just got something. It is we're starting to enter a real serious drought here of not a lot happening.
Yeah, we are.
I think Starz is feeling the pain, but yeah, watch Hightown. It's good. But okay, anyway, that concludes our discussion of Power Book 2 Ghost. First teaser. What do you guys think about it? Give us your thoughts, your theories in the comments. And if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and support us further by checking that link in the description to the store. And we'll see you guys here next time.